What's up? What's up? What's up? How everybody out there doing today? This is your main man behind the plan, Coach Lee, as they like to call me. But I'm on here doing our thing. I got my boy with me tonight. Gonna go ahead and bring him on, Mr. A situation.
What's going
How you
on? What's
doing
going
tonight, bro?
on? I'm hanging in there, coach, man. Just excited to be here and man, just hanging on, man. Just trying to stay positive and just keep moving forward, man. What's going on with you?
Can't complain. Happy New Year to you, man.
Same to you.
Hey, man. Your boy. We gonna keep it, keep it to our topics, but Cowboys got in the playoffs. We good.
Congrat
Saints won, but they out the playoffs. We good.
Yeah. Yeah. Congratulations to the Cowboys. If you know they scared me earlier this year, they scared me out of betting. I had lost so many games in a row. I stopped betting. I should have started betting again, but I don't know what they gonna do half the time, so I just stayed away from it.
Hey,
Uh,
Jacqueline High, man. Save your money.
yeah, say man, I don't know which way they gonna go. I said I used to could depend on somebody to go all out and bet against me on the Cowboys, and I'll come up big. But shoot, I lost big a couple of times, man. I'm done with them until next season because I don't know what they gonna do.
Yes, sir. I was
Hmm.
going business partner, my brother out there. What's up, Uncle Leroy? Who that to you boys, man? Y'all be back next year strong for sure.
Yeah.
But man, talking about next week, next year, whatever the case may be, we getting close to these midterms, man. And
Midterms is upon us.
a lot of people don't, traditionally, people don't vote during midterms, so it's usually not the best candidate that gets in.
Right.
Somebody hurt. All right now.
Hmm.
All right now. Don't settle down.
They're
Now,
they're entitled to be emotional. They're entitled to
that's
be.
true. That's true.
Yeah,
Well,
but
hang
they
out
got
with us
to.
here tonight. We're gonna
Right.
get that can off the ledge, man. But hey,
Right.
you and I, we know we have a lot of talks. As always, we tend to talk about our background. We've been knowing each other since we were kids. Friends with my little brother. So you like a little brother to me, man. I don't see you grow up from the dude on the bike to y'all on the front porch with the paws or prawns, whatever y'all call those things. You
Yeah.
know, to now you're a father, man. So yeah, as far as that's being concerned, we have some pretty deep conversation from time to time. So this is just some insight for everybody to kind of chime in on our conversation that we have. We appreciate your input, and we're looking at it from a perspective of the first topic of the night. We're going to talk about voter identity. As far as not necessarily us as black men, black fathers, but just as individuals. Obviously, we both came from the inner city. Families moved into the suburbs, so we got two different dynamics as far as seeing both sides of the railroad track, so to speak. So,
Right.
you growing up, did your family talk about politics? Did you have a voter identity, or was it just a understood type of thing?
All right. So here's the irony on that, which makes it even wilder for me to even be discussing these things. So I grew up in an environment to where religiously we didn't get caught up into politics at all. So I actually grew up in an environment where I ignored politics for a long time. But one thing I did know for sure was that even with that being said, the underlining identity of my roots still was Democratic because at the end of the day, no matter what was going on, you could kind of just tell your parents was rooting for the Democrats in most cases. So, um, although I didn't harp on it too much because my mother was kind of raised me to put my faith in God as opposed to politics, right?
Right.
And it wasn't until I got older to where I started saying, well, you know what, man, let me, it's things is bad out here, man. Let me jump into this. And that's when I kind of developed my own identity, but it was still primarily based off the fact that the way I was raised and the way I was brought up, I mean, you could just pretty much tell that the identity for black people at that time, it was just Democratic.
Okay. Okay. I'll probably say my plight was very similar to yours. It was always family and religion were the two primary drivers as far as the character builders in my household growing up. Didn't really talk about politics. Maybe when I got a little bit older, I'll probably say for me, I'm just gonna be honest, like probably around about 80. around the 80, 84 range when
Mm.
politics came on my radar. How my family and friends, I would hear conversations that I probably shouldn't be hearing as a kid, but just
Exactly.
being a kid. But I can tell that the people that was in my community were not excited about President Reagan,
Right.
and what they felt was the plight or the obstacles that he might have thrown into the communities that we felt was something that was a means to keep us held down. So for
Right.
us, right off, that was my first identity point as far as President Reagan. Then I kind of went back to a little bit of remnants of Jimmy Carter from my age a little bit, but around that time frame, and then seeing how this was, and then Bush came into the picture, and then that's when I was able to see, my family, it's understood that you're a Democrat,
Right.
um, and we always vote this certain way because this is the candidates, no matter who's on that ticket, that's going to be in our best interest. Um,
Exactly.
I can probably say that I didn't get too involved into politics until President Obama. Um,
Me. That was the first and only time I voted. That's me.
because it's probably the same similar reasons. I saw somebody that I identified with,
Exactly.
by skin color. To be honest about it,
Yeah. That
that's who I
and
was.
right.
And then I'll probably say after President Obama, you're gonna see here, no matter who the president is, I was always raised regardless to I may not care about the person, but I'm going to respect the office and the title itself. So
Right.
I'm always going to refer to him by president, whoever it may be. But from I'll probably say around about President Obama's second term, going to when President Trump decided he was going to run. Um, that's probably when it kind of became on my radar a little bit. But it wasn't full blown until President Trump was going against President Biden. This is the first time that I myself did my due diligence, my homework, um, to where I would go in, find out much about the candidates from a national, state to a local level. Um, that's just something now that I think is part of my overall character and who I am.
Right. And I agree with you 100%. I hit the same milestone um, uh, when Obama ran. And I think what happens is, and that's kind of what I was talking about earlier. You have this identity that you have in childhood, and even if it's not that serious, when the opportunity presents itself for you to attach yourself to someone politically, and it's just right there in your face, like you said, it was primarily race, right? You
Right.
tend to say, oh, okay, look, that makes sense to me. I was already in this environment, and then I see him, and I already see all the other things that are going on socially, right? Social injustice. I guess I could say that. And hey, man, maybe this guy can change it. And then it's just like you said, once you really start to understand the elements of government, the different checks and balances, and I recently just did this, so and I'm still catching up. It's just
Right.
like you said. Well, it's such a deep, it's so deep, man, and it kind of reminds me of what I learned about this whole experience I'm having by discussing politics, because I do think it's important for a couple of reasons, but um, it reminds me of corporate America a lot. So
Mhm.
you see certain things, you know what I'm talking about, because I know you in a boss, you're a boss. So I know you're a boss. You know what I'm saying? So I know that you understand that there are things that you want to do that are maybe like morally correct, but then there are things that you have to do to keep the
Yeah.
establishment going where it goes. Am I right
Yeah.
or wrong though, right?
You are 100% correct, and it's an everyday battle.
That's an everyday battle. And so I imagine politics is the same way. So now I look at it completely different, and I try to remove myself from it emotionally. And I think to myself, well, dang, when I want to vote again, I want to be voting for something. I want to see what it is I can get. So that's kind of where I'm at when it comes to that. It's like now, from then it was an identity, and now for me it's more strategy. So the next thing I put my name on, I want to know that at least I'm promised to get something out of it. So that's where
Gotcha.
I'm at.
Gotcha. I think the cool thing, and it's actually a byproduct of of taking that approach that we're both talking about now, is I think after a while it actually helps you to increase your IQ because you're more socially aware. You're able to also broaden your horizons because you can have these different conversations that you probably would have normally either not had the opportunity to have or just flat out shied away from them. So now you're able to talk to people that you probably normally would have even chatted with before, and you're building networks and adding to your resources. And at the whole, as far as at the end of it, it helps change who you are potentially as the
Right.
individual. And
Exactly.
a lot of times, I think it'll be for the better. I think if a lot more people got involved in it like that, we'd probably be in a better place than we are socially, because people will understand how decisions affect others, why things are the way they are, and what you can do as an individual to try to help against the total sum of things to try to make a difference and change things. And I think if everybody did that, we'd be in a lot better place than where we are right
You
now.
you hit a key point when you said self-awareness, because what happens is when you have these discussions and you kind of put your perspective out there, it also in the back of your mind, if you got some kind of honor or integrity about yourself, it allows you to either it makes you aware that, hey, I put myself out here like this, I need to be consistent with what I'm saying. But it also doesn't mean that if you change your mind because some new facts are introduced, that's okay too. So it's a lot of things that go along with it, man. And I think when you said self-awareness, that hit home for me, because I struggle with, well, I don't struggle with it. I struggle with seeing it and not being then not taking the information that I got and understanding the perception somebody may have if I communicate something incorrectly. So
Gotcha.
I struggle with that. I struggle with that because sometimes I just don't care. I say it exactly how I want to say it, and it's completely counterproductive when after we have a conversation like this and I go out after food because I done got, you know what I'm saying though. But I think it's still, but self awareness is still playing a role, because at least I can say, well, I know better, and it's a
Right.
decision I'm making. The consequences on me. So yeah, self awareness, man. You hit that on the nail when it comes to these type of conversations. It really opens your mind up to where you're at. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
Man, I
Correct.
love that.
So we've already talked about how we educated ourselves from adolescence to now. We kind of dabble a little bit as far as how things have helped change us over the years. Earlier, during our voting times to where we're at right now. How in this big term that President Trump always used, fake news. How hard has it been for you to navigate through that? Because it does exist, but how hard does it, has it been for you to navigate through it in order to find what you want to be deemed as the truth or the answer that you're looking for?
Man, you know what? I say alternative media sources, and so people kind of frown upon that. But I'm not gonna lie, man. A lot of the information I get and the new ideals that I've came across, it just came across with me browsing the internet, looking at stuff like this, trying to get a better understanding, looking things up. Best knowledge is always gonna be in a book. But the good news is you got people out there that have researched and read these kind of books, right? And then they can come along and give you all the key points as it relates to you. So for me, it's more so of alternative media, and then taking the information I receive, make a deduction, right? Either a deduction that I got directly from an alternative news source, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or something that I took from them, generated my own thought process on it and saw where something was going, and then seeing evidence that what I came up with, or whatever my instinct says was correct or was not correct, whatever it may be, if I can predict that in the future, right? So if I hear, let's just say, for example, I'm watching NBC or something and I see one of these knuckleheads, let's say something crazy, let's throw them off. Let's say I'm watching Fox News and I watch Tucker Carlson, right? I like
Okay.
watching Tucker, and I have a lot of reasons for that. It's a lot of reasons I like watching Tucker, because I like to get in the mind of certain type of people. I like to understand where they're coming from and if they're going to be consistent with with their stance, and they usually are. So I'm listening to him and I'm going to say, all right, you said this, sir. Let's see if you right down the line, right?
Right,
Are you right, or
right.
are you wrong, right? If you're wrong, then I can tell you're not a good source because nothing's
Bingo.
subjective with you. You know what I'm saying? And I can say the same thing on the other side. I just use him as an example. I ain't beating up on Tucker, man. I know a lot of folks like Tucker. I like to watch Tucker. It's very entertaining to me. But that's pretty much how I do now. And now you have the internet, so you can go and research what's really going on. You don't have to just take an article that pop up on Facebook. You can take that one, compare that one with ones you get from Newsbreak, compare that one with all the other sources we got, and that's what I do. I read and look and listen and figure out what pertains to me and where I want to go, and if it's right or wrong, man. So that's how I navigate the fake news.
That truth is going to be in there somewhere.
Yeah, oh yeah, the truth is gonna be in it, and it's gonna, like I said, the main thing is that prediction for the future. If what they said a year from now turned out, and I can see that in full view, I'm gonna continue to go to these sources to get my information, because what was said here that you couldn't possibly know there, just a trend. Now you could make an educated guess based off trends. If it shows right here, then yeah, I'm gonna start looking into that. That's how I do it.
Okay.
What about you?
I would probably say for me, it does make it hard. I was familiar with some of the news sources that you mentioned. I like to look at stuff on the left side, right side, even some stuff, kind of down the middle. I'll probably say the biggest thing that does get in my way that I am not a proponent of is when people attempt to tell a story, but they put their opinion, the opinion based type of reporting. I don't care for that. Just give me the facts, give me the details, and let me come to my own conclusion. I don't need to try to sway to how I should look at something or how I should perceive something. And I think that's why our political climate or society is how it is right now, because a lot of people, A, don't take the time to go research themselves, and B, we used to everything being so instant, from turning on the TV to preparing a meal to phone call. I remember back in the day when you used to if you had like to make an emergency phone call, you could still talk to an operator then. I don't know when the last time I talked to an operator now.
Right, you sure could. You sure could.
But we're so used to just things being instantaneous for us that they can tell us something and then we're just gonna believe it. And if we just stick on one side and you just left all news or write all news, that can
kill you.
That can kill you. It can totally just skew your whole thought process and the way you perceive things. So, it definitely makes it hard. But it gives, I see it as almost like a pastime now, when I'm not watching sports. I'm not watching something from, I'm a big history buff. I love watching history. World history, national history, societal history, anything like that. I just love history in general, man. But if I'm not doing that, you best believe I'm surfing channels. I'm going through apps, man. I'm trying to find and consume as much news as I can.
Because it's just like you said, everything is agenda driven. It's agenda driven. Everything is agenda driven. And it's funny that you said when you said you just want the news, just the facts, objectively. I guarantee you, if you started it right now, started a news station right now, you would be the only one of your kind that got that. Because it's just like you said. Nobody, even the stuff that I enjoy watching, that I feel like I identify with the most, I have to remind myself that this is still agenda driven, right? Yep. So I have to still pull out even the stuff that I completely agree with when it's presented to me, especially when it's with a news outlet, right? It's agenda driven, and it's written all over it. And I'm like, man, he really pushing that, So for me though, what that tells me though, if you're really pushing it, now it's up to me to do my due diligence, like you said, go do my research and see if what you pushing, if it makes sense, man. Yeah.
And now, that you've mentioned that, now it makes more sense now. I didn't understand it when I was younger, but I remember when we had the Dallas Times Herald and the Dallas Morning News.
Right.
I can't remember which one I think ours was always the Times Herald that we got in the house all the time. And that was the only newspaper I ever saw. Every now and then I would go somewhere and see somebody with the morning news, but it was like foreign and taboo to me because we just never even food on that side.
Right, and all I can remember was the Dallas Morning News. So this is how bad it is for me. The Times Herald, there's a Dallas Times Herald. I didn't know that. So we literally lesson them out from each other. We get different newspapers because all I remember is Dallas Morning News, man.
Man, see, I'm feeling my age there, man.
Dude, look, as soon as you said it, the visual came up because my pops was an avid newspaper reader, man. I mean, my pops, he can read through the whole paper. He's the kind that's gonna go through the obituaries. He the only person I know that can go through the obituary and he can find out somebody that's dying through an obituary, somebody that I would even never guess he'd have been
Yep.
known. You know what I'm saying? So
Witness
yeah, it's
that
crazy.
article, man.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let me so we kind of talked about a little bit about our background, how we got to this point where we're at right now. But obviously, let's talk about the obvious thing of it, and that's being a black voter in America today.
Well,
Um,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, go ahead.
Oh,
You about to
you
roll
ready
right
for
in?
me? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, um, you know, man, this is so crazy because it just makes me smile. The article that you sent, which basically suggests that the turnaround for the black vote, the reversing of the black vote to the Democratic vote, and a lot of, I mean, it was inevitable, man. And the truth of it was inevitable. I'm just gonna say it, man. And I like it. You know what I'm saying? And I like it because not that I'm necessarily, like I said, I'm not too keen on the Republican Party, and it's a shame that we only have two parties. But here's what's a double shame, though. It's a double shame that you had these folks vote for years and years and years and never did anything tangible or never did anything concrete to say, we appreciate your vote. Keep it coming, right? And it hit the fan, man. And it was all because of, I mean, hey, man, I'm going to toot my own horn, man. I was out here blasting it all through the thing. I calmed down. I said I was going to calm down. I gave him enough hell, right? So I said I was going to calm down. But all of us that thought outside of the box and really started researching this thing and realizing that the Democratic Party really hasn't done anything for us except come to us when it's time, like midterms, they supposed to get ready. They supposed to come out. They supposed to be coming out to you. They supposed to be coming out to us and dangling some treats and stuff in front of us, man, and talking about pearls and I don't know what corny thing they're gonna come up with. And I don't care if anybody gets upset with me. It's ridiculous, right? That first of all, it's insulting. But when you say that, you know, it kind of goes back to how black people just view black people in regards to just anything. Like other cultures, there's no set type of identity you have to have. You know, your identity is there, your culture is there. The Black American, they got us pulled so many different ways now, identity, and nothing wrong with that. But it's almost like they blend our identities into whatever agenda that they got. You know what I'm saying? So we become the poster child for representing everything else, right? But when it comes down to it, and we support these things that the Democratic Party throw at us, whether it be LGBT, whether it be opening up the borders, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. It's not LGBT on the front line. It's our black faces on the front line. Whenever they talking about bringing folks across the border, we're on the front lines okay in that. But on the back end, we still losing because you're letting all these people in. You know, and I'm going to say that. You're letting all these people in, right? And it's putting a dent on the economy, right? It's putting a dent on the economy in regards to the ecosystem. Because now you got a whole separate person coming into an ecosystem that's already struggling, right? You letting them in free, you giving them resources, and guess who that's going to affect the most? Not the top of the totem pole, but the bottom. Blacks, we still the bottom of the totem pole in this country. So, but at the same time, though, while all of that is happening, we over here proponents for everybody. We saying, yeah, let them in. We understand the situation over there. Yeah, LGBT. Yeah, let's do that. We everything. And then when they put you in, and then when we put the people in office, no matter who they are, black or white, right? Everybody gets their agenda taken care of, but we get left. I don't even think, did they ever pass the George Floyd Act? Did they ever pass it?
I don't think they did.
I don't think they passed it.
I don't think they did.
Yeah, they didn't pass that, right? So everything that they said, and actually this time they really didn't say nothing. And like I said, man, you know, and I'm gonna say this because I could talk about this forever, and I'm gonna leave it alone. But I think what it really was the baby boomers, our parents, are the ones that were really holding on to that thought process. Because I remember my dad was holding on to it for a while, and then we finally, like I said, I think we discussed it before. We had some recent conversations, and he was just like, "Man, you know what? You exactly right. I sat back down and I thought about it. He thought about it from, he born in 51. So he thought about it from then till now.
My dad.
Yeah. So he said to himself, he said, you know what? He said there may have been a time when the Democratic Party was better. And I think maybe during that Reagan time, I think there was some good incentives to go opposite of Reagan. You know what I'm saying? If you were black at that time. Because I think a lot of the people that were black in the 50s and 60s coming up, early 70s, I think they had a good grasp on what was really going on back then. I think more so than people do now, but they just held on to them traditions, man. But to summarize, what I'm saying is, I'm happy that black people are looking at alternative sources. I just hate that the source that we have is a party that's seated in racism, man. But I am happy that people have actually started looking at this thing from a strategic standpoint. So yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah, they are looking at it. And it kind of goes back to the first portion we talked about, getting out there and doing your research. Because I think because this last election was so polarizing as it was, that
Mm-hmm.
people naturally just started to get more familiar with news sources and meet and just media in general. And and now they know, okay, this is the first election, or it could be the case, but the first election that I paid attention, that you told me you was going to do A, B, and C. I'm checking this box of the stuff you told me you was going to do to get my vote. Either you have or you haven't done it. So what's the deal? Now I'm going to watch you to see if you and your party going to come out here with the same message. Then I think that's when you know what is going to hit the fan, because unless something drastically changes, you are going to get a shift. And it's weird because growing up, we identified as Democrats. Um, you always thought that the only people that were Republicans were the wealthy and things like that. But you see now the Republican Party using verbiage and jargon like they now are seeing and using the terminology that they consider themselves as the party of the working class men. We want to try to protect your rights. We believe in less government. We believe in every man being accountable for their win or losses in life. And
Right.
this is what it is. If you want it, you got to go get it. But I think now, because of paying attention, it's probably been that way before, but we never paid attention to it. So this is why we always had this back and forth from both sides of the aisle. And that's, and as you spoke to earlier, that's why it sucks that we don't have a two-party system, because it's either
Mm-hmm.
or. And whenever it's either or, there's never anybody or anyone or any element in there to keep you honest. To say they said they're going to do this, they said they're going to do that. Here's where you can put in your votes or put in your attention or put in your resources. It's a
Right.
third option, but having it that either or way. If you think about it, the top 10% of the country, from a financial standpoint, they all sit on both sides of the aisle. They all getting paid. They all making bukus of money, somehow, some way, and we just not really paying attention to it. It's all
And racism is deeply implanted in both sides.
it
You know, that's
is.
that's
It
that's a
is.
lot of things that black people don't get, man. I mean, but even like you said with the election, like this, I mean, no offense to President Biden, but the man said literally, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. Like, if that don't scream racism, I don't know. I mean, they don't get it. They say, "Oh, you tripping?" No, I'm not tripping, man. That's a bold statement to say. You have to really feel like you have to really be in
Say what you want to
a
say.
you're right. You gotta be in a real white supremacist mindset to say that I dictate what culturally makes you what you are. I said it, so it must be. But like I said, most black people didn't look at it that way, and I do get it. I do understand that most black people voted because of this this scare campaign they ran on Donald Trump, man. And Donald Trump is just, in my mind, only thing Donald Trump did was kind of help. I mean, when Donald Trump was in office, man, a lot of the covert racism became overt, right? So you got to see it, and to me that works, because if you can see a racist, you can kind of weed them out, and then you can say, hey, look, man, this dude.
Handle them accordingly.
Yeah, you can handle it accordingly, man. And me personally, I prefer that over you telling me you're gonna do something for me, then really not do nothing, and then look at me as just somebody that you use. I rather you tell me you don't like me and try to use me, and we get the opportunity to fight back, and you tell me you like me and you're gonna use me. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, I just think that I think a lot of people learn a good lesson on exactly what you said. Are you going to do what you say you're going to do? And what they learned now was that didn't happen. And now, because of, I think more so because of alternative news sources, I think a lot of people are getting information from a lot of different smaller news sources who got their own agendas. But sometimes having your own agenda, right or wrong, it at least allows people to do enough common sense research. And common sense says, you said you was going to do something for me, you ain't do it.
That's true.
You know,
Now
so
we got to have this conversation about it. You finna work for whatever you trying to get from me.
right. Exactly. Exactly. And but that's the way it works though, right? Because it's almost like in that's what I got from the whole thing when I took my emotions out of it, and I realized that when Obama was in there, it was nothing he could really do about the Trayvon Martin situation. He just let it happen and said, put a trust in the justice system. So how I see it as a black American, how I see it, no matter which side I go to, no one's going to go out of their way to make sure I'm doing all right. Like you said, I'm gonna have to pull myself up from my own bootstraps. I'm gonna have to take care of my business on my own. So therefore, with that being said, if I'm going to vote, I'm going to make sure they're not gonna care about me anyway. At the that's the underlining fact. They're not gonna care about me anyway. Period. Right.
Right.
So in my mind, if I'm looking to vote, now I'm just looking at, okay, what policies are you going to implement that are directly going to affect me and my culture in a positive way? If there is nothing and it ain't nothing, then you might as well not pander to my vote. Give me something to make me say, hey, I'm going to go out here and vote for him, because what he's going to do is either level us all up, right? Or level my culture up. One or the other. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's where people was at. They realized, we couldn't even get the man to really implement a law to where these police to stop, just killing us for no reason. You couldn't even do that. That would have been all right. Couldn't even do that.
Um, man, that was a mouthful there, bro.
I know, bro.
You know, I think I wish we would get more involved and know it. And like I mentioned earlier, being, gaining that knowledge, from a political insight can help shape you and change you as a person, to help your growth, even increase your IQ to a certain extent. But
Mm-hmm.
I think if you take that mindset, then guess what else you're going to do? You're going to get involved in local politics, and then that usually is going to include you getting involved in your school system. If you have kids or not, get involved in what's going on in your town, down to your community, down to your neighborhood, and ultimately to your household. I think all of that is going to make you more of an inquisitive person, and you're going to look at things and try to, once again, take emotion out of decision making moments, but letting the emotion come in the mindset of happiness or or letdown because of the consequences from the decision you made. But still being able to say that I, with a clear mind and conscious, unbiased, I made this decision. Yay that it turned out like this, or I probably should have made that decision and it affect me in this negative way. But I think if you look at it from their mindset, people will stop just being on a reaction, which is what most society is. Again, back to that instantaneous satisfaction that people are looking for. But you got to be able to just sit down, look at it for what it is, try to take emotion out of it, bias as much bias out of it as possible, and being able to make the right decision. And I think if people did that, no, I know still gonna be evil people in the world, the case may be, but people will probably stop screwing over each other as much as they do.
Oh, most
People gonna
definitely.
stop trying, trying to take advantage of one another, or being a detriment to people. And then people be more responsible for themselves. If I take care of me, then I know the sum of the whole thing is gonna take care of everybody else, because everybody else is repeating what I'm doing.
Man, I agree with that wholeheartedly. My mama has a saying, man, and she's always said this, man, and I try to live by it. And it kind of goes back to that take care of your village type of thing. But she always says, family is a funny thing, but really the best thing you can do for family is take care of yourself, which is just the realest thing. I'm amazed. I'm amazed about how simple that is. Because if you're taking care of your business and everybody's taking care of their business, when we get together, man, there is no problems because everybody's taking care of their business. Yep. That's the best thing you can do. Instead of saying, oh, because so-and-so got it, he got to give it. She got to give it. Come on, bro. They don't have to give it. And then if they do give it, but see, that's why, and it's funny, man, this is trickling off into some cold stuff, man, but that's why other cultures are so much more successful. And that's why when it comes to other cultures being in this country and not being a significant part of the voting class, it's because they don't necessarily have to be to thrive. Whatever rule, and that's why I'm really kind of just like off the right. I'm kind of off the bandwagon of voting unless there's a specific endorsement that you coming at me with that'll benefit my culture. And I'm just gonna say my culture because I know my culture still hasn't had restitution for things that have happened in the past, and that's a debate people will go in and out of, whatever. Fine, we don't get it. Fine, we don't expect it either. But I think what's important to remember is that because we still are the ancestors of the folks that built this country, we do need to make sure that if there is an opportunity for us to get something, we get it. That I feel that way about that. But as far as other cultures and how they are in the voting system, minutely, you don't ever see them pandering to Asians, right? You don't see them pandering to the Indians, right? You don't really see them doing that, but you do see those cultures thriving in this country at an outstanding level. That's because the politics of family, the politics of religion, those things are working. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of where I'm at. Like, man, save your own village. And I'm working on that on my own, bro. Save your own village. My partner always tell me that. He'd be like, yeah, man, I watch your stuff, blah, 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 bro. You saying some stuff, but save your own village, bro. And he used to say that, and I guess part of me may have gotten offended, but then the other part of me is like, the part of me that's subjective, put my emotion to the side, that's real spill. Save your own village. If everybody saved their own village, if all of our family members get together and do the right thing for themselves, and then when you're doing the right thing for yourself, it's easier to do the right thing by others. It's when you're not doing the right thing by yourself that you start acting a fool. So, yeah, man, I think all of that stuff.
That part right there, just boom, light bulb.
Man, I'm telling you, bro. I mean, and these are things that I'm learning coming from a person that, man, I think you had said it one time, man. I think you had posted it one time. You said something like, if you was blessed not to get in trouble for the things that you did, and you knew what you was doing was not how you was raised. Right? You know what I'm saying? That was me. What are you talking about? That was me. Now I see why you was trying to get us in line. So we still stupid. We still did it. But it's just like you said, though. But when you have that conservative background and that positive upbringing, though, you kind of can gauge if you're getting too far outside of your boundaries. You kind of know your limitations. You know what I'm saying? And it's just so deep how all of that stuff is intertwined, man. All of it, family, religion. All of that's probably more important than spirituality. All of that's probably more important than the actual vote. But what it does is it gives you perspective now. Because I guarantee you, if they pander to the Asian vote, the Asians going to let them know, hey, man, we need this and we need that. Because they are a constructive part of the community, they can make them requests. So a lot of things in our community we got to do. I'm not saying we can't demand now. I still say we can. But we also need to put ourselves in a position to make a power play because it's about lobbying, right?
Right.
Yeah, and that starts with you building up your community and you having good families with good jobs where you can say, because one thing about racism and all that, nothing trumps that money. If they know that there's an opportunity to get some money and all they got to do is sprinkle a little here, sprinkle a little there, now you running something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
and I think we're going to get there as a culture. Put it like that. We're going to get there, but it's not going to be by choice. It's going to be because we're going to be made to get there because we're no longer the largest minority in this country anymore. It's our brothers and
Hmm.
sisters from the South right now. That's who they're
Right.
pandering in. That's who they know that they're getting over here now. They're trying to help them become naturalized. They're having kids, and their kids going to be able, be citizens by birth. They're going to be voters, and they're already positioning to start pandering towards them like they do to us right now. And we're going to be forced because we're going to see that, and we're going to finally, it's going to come to us that we've been used, and we're going to start buckling down and take care of our own, like the Asian communities, like the Indian communities, where this is our community. We're here within the United States, but we run our stuff locally. We hold each other accountable, and therefore, by us holding ourselves accountable, we're going to hold you accountable. And if you don't do what you said you're going to do from a voting perspective, your vote will not be supported by us during the next
Boom.
election.
That
That's
and
how
that's
important
power.
it's going
That's power. But the right now, some of these crazy folks they don't understand that that's powerful, man. Even if
to be.
your vote don't have to necessarily, that don't mean your vote got to go the other way. It just means your vote don't go.
Don't
That's
go.
power in that, man. It's power in that, especially if they pander into these. And they, I mean, I know they already started. Man, what did Biden say one time? He actually made some. Did he specifically say that he was going to start? I think Biden at one point said that the Hispanic community was more
That was him.
flexible. Yeah,
Yeah.
what?
Yes.
But
But
yeah, that's wild, man. That's
something
wild,
like
right?
that, or they're more unpredictable, or something of the sorts
He
like that.
said that
But
he
in other
basically
words,
said, yeah.
that
Go ahead.
we know that they're not going to automatically support us. We're not, and we can't count on that vote every time like we do from our community. So we know we got to work a little bit harder because they can go one way or the other.
Right, right, right. Yeah, man. Ooh, this is it's going to be interesting. I agree with you 100%. I think when it comes to a point in time to where nobody's pandering for our vote and we really are lost in the dust, and it should make us realize that our dollars need to be, you know what I'm saying, spent more with us. You know what I'm saying, and this is not to X out nobody else because guess what? The way we set up, we gonna always buy from other folks. They ain't never got to worry about that. But we may have to start making a conscious effort. I mean, I'm just telling you how it is, man.
Real, real deal,
I got
man.
one place right now. I know I'm not gonna never stop going to. It just ain't gonna happen. They have to look. They have to call me the N word to my face twice. But because the food's so good, man, I got to go. I got to have it. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, if there's an opportunity for me to give a brother and sister chances, I can find it. Most of the time, I can get it going back the other way. But yeah, I definitely put into that because that's the main thing. We got to get our dollars circulating within our community, and that's much easier said than done. We can talk about it, but it's some real thinking heads. But see the thing about it, this is the crazy part. We having this discussion, someone will probably say that us having this discussion is not a big deal. But then you think about the people who are in positions of power that look like us that are working, they're not doing nothing. What are they doing? They're not even having the discussions in NAACP, the Black
As long
Caucus.
as they
Man,
getting paid.
long as they getting their shit, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm
that top
saying.
10%, man.
Bro, they not caring, dog, because they're not gonna come down here and say, "Hey, man," because I mean, what we're saying is not now because of the information age, like you said. What we're saying is now it's common law now in regards to understanding exactly how these things work. Now it's common law. We know what's going on. A lot of people know what's going on. But what do we do to fix it if the people that we have voted in place even with the different black groups, what are they doing, man? What's going on? You know what I'm saying? I just want to know what are they doing, you know. But hey,
and
man.
and that's a good segue for the next topic. Um, and I think people are now asking more and more questions about what are they doing now? What are you doing with
Mm-hmm.
these resources that you're taking from us that we're providing? And I think that's why now you're seeing people. Obviously, um, we're still gonna have a lot of people on the left side. We have some people that become, moderate. I mean, sorry, independents, and you're gonna have some people that become Republicans, to where we know that we need to take our resources, spread them over all, I guess, 2.5. We'll call it 2.5 parties that we have right now, but we're going to be
Right.
able to spread that over all 2.5 parties to make sure of, well, this election we voted. You didn't have our vote either directly or by not voting over here because you told us you were going to do this. Well, you didn't
Right.
do it. So now we're going to swing over here. So we're going to start becoming unpredictable as far as how we're going to vote, which is going to make them hold themselves more accountable. And it's going to also make them know that we can't just go out here
And tell them anything.
tell them anything and it's going to be there. So
That's strategy. Man, you put it, I've been trying to say that, man. I've been trying to say that how you just said that so cold, man. Confusion. Boy, ain't nothing like confusion, man. A good pimp will keep a woman confused, man. That's how he continue to move. And that's pretty much what you got to do to gain some power. Boy, I ain't never thought of it. Hold on, let me man, you said you hit the nail on the head, man. That confusion will make them have to make some decisions.
And so,
can you hear me?
So I get it by
cool. Yeah, that's because my battery is running low, so I gotta let it charge a little bit. But go ahead.
Okay, we'll fight through it. So we got now what I like to call the Black Republic. And the reason why I say that is there's a trend where we see more of what's going on to that side. What's your thought on that?
I think it's a good thing, man. I think it plays into what you're talking about. Like, I think what's happening is, and it doesn't even matter at this point what difference do it make. I think it's a great thing because now you showing that you got power. Now you saying to the other party, look, man, we done rock with y'all for free for 50 years. Let's go see what they got to offer. Who knows, right? We been rocking with them, right? Rocking with them for free, right? 50 years. Let's go see what happens if we go this other route, because now it's just like you said. I mean, they either get confused. A couple of things gonna happen. They either gonna, and it's gonna be very, very, very clear when they do it. A couple of things gonna happen. They either not gonna pay it no mind at all and won't say a thing about it. But I don't predict that because I believe that even the superior powers, I think they get in their feelings too. So I believe they're going to express either directly or indirectly that they don't need us, or it's going to be something to that effect. So I believe that it's a very, very good thing that people are looking into being open-minded about being more strategic with their vote, because that's what it is, man. They saying you ain't did nothing, you didn't do nothing then, you're not doing nothing now. Hey, man, let me see what they talking about. Maybe I can get in here and start influencing things on this side, like you said, starting from a local level, then going on up through the ranks of government, because we're in the ranks of the Democratic government, right? Not so much in the ranks of the Republican government, but I think it's good that they're doing it now. It just depends on who it is. I know there was one lady, it's one black lady. I don't know if she was in North Carolina or I don't know who she is. It just depends too, because some people that vote Republican are just so conservative in their thinking that it borderlines, I don't want to use the C word, but it's almost like not necessarily strategy, but I'll do anything to get in good with these folks type deal. Yeah, I don't want to. I mean, we can't have too many of those. And then the thing about that is, and I apologize because it just gets deeper the more I think about it. We also got to be careful of if we do decide to infiltrate that system, right? And we decide to go the other route, it needs to be strategy based, and the representatives need to be. That's how we messed up in the Democratic Party, I believe, a lot. Representation for us needs to be Black American. There's a difference between a Black American and someone from our brothers and sisters from the Caribbean and all over the diaspora. There's an internal issue with all that too that people don't get into that much. They don't necessarily consider themselves the same as us, right? Because where they come from, you know what I'm talking about? And I experienced this when I was younger. And I didn't understand certain things, but I understand them now, and I don't want to get too deep into it. But we do have to make sure that our brothers and sisters that decide they want to go on that side, that they can relate to us. Because what happens is if you get that other word I was talking about, or you get a foreign black person, right? That I'm just being real. So you get a foreign black person, or you get one of these other folks that want to be a part of the get along game, right? You're really not gonna see any progress with that. You know what I'm saying? You're just not gonna see any progress. It's gonna be the same thing, because it's almost like, I don't care what nobody say. When Obama was president, his mother's white, right? His dad was it Jamaican?
No, he was from Africa.
Africa. Okay, there you go. Still to this day, we haven't had an American black president. Think about that for a quick second. I'll blow your mind with that. We haven't had an American. In other words, the person that they pick doesn't even technically doesn't fit our profile, because you are what you raised by and what your lineage is. You know what I'm saying? And that can be picked apart in a lot of different ways. But anyway, I know I went way into some crazy stuff, but I say all that to say, I think it's a good thing as long as it's the right people, and as long as they have a pro-black agenda. And not to say that doesn't mean that we can't look out for everybody else in the progress, but the way that the system is set up, anything, whatever they give us, they're gonna find a way to give everybody anyway. So you can go through with that any way it goes. Whatever, as we discussed earlier, whatever agendas are on the table, if it's LGBT or if it's like I said, anything to do with foreign policy that they can attach to us, they're gonna attach everything to us anyway. So yeah, I think it's a good thing. I just think it's a good thing that they challenging Democrats, man. Let me shut up. I get way deep in it, man.
So you know, I was looking at a couple articles. Okay, so I was looking at a couple articles, and it pertained to you know, the John Lewis voting and the George Floyd, the Lewis voting and the Floyd policing bills, which have both stalled. And I think, you know, and it goes back to what you said earlier about us not getting the respect that, you know, that's kind of due to us. And when you had asked if the George Floyd bill had even passed. And this is the type of stuff where stuff that we ask for and stuff that pertains or that directly or indirectly affects our communities, they always drag their feet. But anybody else come through, they'll jump right up and get dual party support. It's a bipartisan bill, and it goes right through.
Man, bruh, all day, everything, man, everything. Whenever they came up with what was this thing that they had, man? Asian, I don't even know if it was even real, man. Now that I think about it, because I ain't never heard of nobody just mad at no Asian. I ain't never heard of that, bro.
Oh yeah,
have you ever heard of that, bro?
No, not really.
Not really on a large scale like that.
Just randomly, no.
Man, who?
Something happened to get
bro, nobody. I've never ever even heard. I've heard a lot of things in life, bro. Nobody makes fun of Asians, bro. Like nobody wants to run around and hit Asians, bro. No, I've never heard anything like that before. So I think they took a few isolated incidents and made it bigger than what it was. But as you can see, they immediately passed something. Oh. Didn't they immediately do an anti-Asian hate bill that went through? And if I'm not mistaken, bro, I think it included some kind of tangible benefits. I think it included some paper, man. That's the crazy part. Yeah, I mean, it just goes back to the point that you made. Like, bro, every single thing that they do, it just seems like exactly what you said, man. Everything, and this is the point, man. You drove it home because you used the correct terminology, man. The bipartisan portion of it is what gets me. They don't have any problem. Everybody goes with the flow when it comes to everybody but us. How is that possible, bro? And how do you, as a black person that done basically bent over for these people to do whatever it is they want to do to you, how do you not call that out? They scared to call it out in most cases. You know what I'm saying? But man, I wish, man, you hit that. I'm gonna have to use it the way you use it, man. I say it kind of crazy, but you hit the nail on the coffin, on the head, man. They seem to always be able to pass everything for everybody else and drag their feet. But I mean, Why would you not drag your feet if you know at the end of the day you gonna get the vote anyway? We can treat them any kind of way.
Yep.
Huh?
Yep. Getting straight pimp.
Man, come on, man. And it's crazy, bro. And it's nuts that people still want to roll with that. Like, it's like, you still want to do that after you know what it is? You ain't going to even let a family member play you 2 or 3 times before you treating them bad. But you're going to let these folks come in and do you like that over and over again, year after year, and then have a nerve enough to get mad that somebody might have an alternative viewpoint that you disagree with. They disowning us, people like us, me and you, for having these conversations. I've been disowned, literally. I've literally been disowned. So I already know. You know what I'm saying? I'm thankful my immediate family ain't disowned me, man. My mama, she don't care either way. And like I said, my pops recently, we done had several conversations that prompted him into looking into it. And my pops was like, man, you exactly right, man. It ain't much of a difference. I said, no, it ain't no difference, man. I said, except them gas prices. And that inflation. That's a difference.
man. And that's perfect. I want to ask you next topic. Let's talk about his first year in office. The current president. He's coming up on his first year. What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, it's kind of funny. He did exactly what I expected, so I don't have no thoughts. But I tell you what I didn't expect, though. I didn't expect it to plummet like it did, man. Not that fast. Oh my God, it could plummet it fast, man. They do not have faith in this man. I never had faith in him because I knew better. But they don't have faith in him. And speaking of the subject, kind of circling back around to the black vote, a lot of it's plummeting because now black people realize that they didn't get nothing out the deal. And now that people like me and you and other people have talked about this on a lower level amongst our peers, those things, they might not have liked it, but it did give them the opportunity to do exactly what they didn't want to do, was look in that microscope and put him under it. See, they put him under it. They might not never tell us they put him under it, but they put him under that microscope. And secretly, that's why it's plummeted, because they said, you know what? All these cuckoo birds was right. We was wrong. We ain't gonna tell them cuckoo bird we was wrong, but we definitely gonna be watching you on these midterms and after the end of this presidency to see what we gonna do about that party. That wouldn't happen. But yeah, he done did terrible, man. It's terrible is what done happened. Terrible.
Early predictions is saying that they are probably going to lose about, and I'm speaking of the Democrats, about 80 seats. 80 seats.
I'm not surprised, bro. I'm not surprised, man. I'm not surprised. Not surprised. I mean, because what do you get? So it's just kind of like you said. Let's say, boom, you tried to pass everything you said you was gonna pass for black people. Not what some would consider to be extreme, which is something like reparations, which is what I'm all about. But let's say you just passed the George Floyd Act. Let's say you did some other things, some tangible things to put into the community that really show up, not just hidden behind some words that really amount to nothing or really amount to being all inclusive for everybody. Some real tangible stuff for us. They wouldn't even have this problem right now. It wouldn't be no problem, because even if you tried it and it got knocked away, right? You would be good. But they not even trying. Nothing's really happening. So I think that's what got them, man. I think that's what got them. They didn't even try, bro. They ain't try, man. Makes me sad.
I can hear it. I can definitely hear it, and I can relate to it, and I understand that, and it should make you sad. And then after you're done being sad, it's gonna piss you off, because I'm speaking to you, but just in general. But it's gonna piss you off to the point to where you're like, damn, like you said, they was right. I ain't gonna tell them. But man, I can't get ticked like this again. If I get ticked like this again, then I deserve to be where I'm at.
And these are intelligent people we dealing with, right? So a lot of the people we dealing with, like that we talk to, I call us the grassroots, because we having this conversation on the ground. So a lot of us on the grassroots, right? When we have these conversations with people, you know what I'm saying? These people are well-to-do, well-traveled sometimes. They've watched the system work for them, right? And even with watching the system work for you, you would think that alone would drive you to consider hopping on a conservative side, because yeah, you dealt with it and it was harder for you because you are Black. It's the truth, right? But you dealt with it and you made it work, and you used a lot of the ideals that this party talks about, which is pulling yourself up, which is making it happen for yourself on your own. Now, does that mean that I think that things aren't challenging for us? No, I believe they're still more challenging for us. But I say all that to say that it hurt them this time that they put their peas in that pod, and everybody else knows that they didn't get nothing out of it. So yeah, they're gonna have to, they're gonna have to figure something out, bro.
They laughing at us.
They laughing at us, man.
They laughing at us.
Yep.
It's true, man. And I'm laughing at everybody that didn't listen to us too. I'm laughing at y'all. Ha ha ha. But it's out of love though. It's out of love though. I'm laughing because sometimes, man, y'all kill the messenger, right? They kill the messenger, right? You kill the messenger, man. Like, just all you gotta, I mean, hell, man. What the hell? Why can't somebody like me and you, working class citizens, be talking about this type of stuff and have an impact? Why can't we? A bankrupt man made it to president. You know what I'm saying? Yep. A Playboy model was first lady, right? See, but people don't. Right. Am I right though?
You're right. You're
dead on.
That's what happened. So what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, if things like hell, it was one year, man, that even our dearly beloved president received fellatio in the White House, right? Right. So at the end of the day, we're all human. None of us are perfect. We all make mistakes, but don't kill the messenger, man. Every time. Sometimes you got to take it. Sometimes you got to look at it and say, man, does that feel right? If it feel right, don't go with it. Just go do the research, man. The research is going to speak for itself. It's going to tell you whether or not what somebody's saying is BS. But I think a lot of times, especially in our community, we got a monkey see. That's the reason why we all vote Democrat. Monkey see, monkey do. People are scared to jump off the bandwagon and be ridiculed, man. I don't care. Man, peer pressure is man, I swear to God, sometimes I be saying to myself, man, am I in high school again? Is this for real? Is this what they doing? Like, y'all don't have not an individual soul. It's like everywhere, man. And I even see this, in the corporate America too. It's a very bad culture of everything has to be monkey see, monkey do. And I get it. Some trends we're all going to fall upon and we're going to enjoy. But bro, at some point in time, man, you gotta have your own opinion about something. And I'm not going to always 100% agree with either side. Damn sure not going to 100% agree with the Republican, but I will say that when Trump was in office, outside of the overt racism, things was pretty smooth, man. You felt like things was good, man. He's still not the brightest light bulb. Yeah, it was all right, man. It was all right. Telling the truth, man. Oh, and I also think Joe, and I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna get off of it. Joe, I also think this COVID thing is a challenge, and I would not want to be him because me personally, I don't even understand what's going on. I can't really tell if this is a money thing. People close to me have passed away, or at least in my vicinity. I ain't gonna say close. I'm gonna say people that I've known have passed away from it. So I ain't even really understanding that whole thing, but go ahead. So I feel sorry for him on that front. I don't know what the COVID thing is about. I don't even get it.
I definitely agree with you on I wouldn't want to be in that position. The job itself is already hard, but then you got that. But something that you said right before this, it pertained to how people might be laughing at us, we laughing back at them. And I think of that as you know what though? At the end of the day, I'm not going to give up on that individual. If I got to convince you one by one to just think for yourself, think outside the box, I'm going to do that. Because me now, compared to me, let's even go back 20 years ago. Two totally different people. I know a lot more now than I did back then because of wisdom, insight, and experiences. And us as a community, we are politically and to an extent socially immature. And that's why a lot more other communities are more advanced than us, because they've already gone through those growing pains at some point in time, because they had roots from somewhere. They had things they can identify with. They have something that's similar. If you think about it, we don't even have a family tree. We can only go back so far to when the first one of us arrived over here, assuming that, it is what it is. But we can only go that far back to, as far as titles, names. We don't even have our original last names. So at the end of the day, we're behind the eight ball and behind everybody else, and we got to play catch up. That's why we can't continue to inhibit one another, get in one another's way, or even discourage one another to even for thinking outside of the box. We may be the pioneers. We're going down the line and we're seeing something that's totally different that we can bring back to the community. There may be something groundbreaking in the future for us to change our whole narrative from a historical standpoint.
Oh man, you hit it too. And you right about that, man. You got to keep on. You have to keep on drilling in these folks, and it's unfortunate. The crazy part about it is the one thing that we have to attach our culture to happens to be the one thing that's both. I'd say it's about 30%. I say it's about 30% good, 70% evil, and that's hip hop, the rap culture, music culture. I know because I love it, and I know it's not good, and I enjoy making music, all kinds, right? But I think also Black people got to realize though it's a time and a place for everything. So at the end of the day, everybody has cultural things that probably aren't too good though that happen to be on the forefront. And for us, it is music, right? So we also got to start finding a way to separate entertainment from these other things. Because right now it's crazy too. Because if you think about it, music is so ingrained in our culture that that's what's used to advertise everything, including political identity, So I think when we start looking at what we're missing as a culture and what we do have as a culture, I think we kind of got to start with entertainment, and we got to kind of start with taking some of the essential good things out of that and putting that to the forefront. We got to also start though on the back end. We got to start promoting people who represent us in a positive light. Smart people, man, intelligent people, political people who actually know what they're talking about. They get left behind, man. They get left behind.
So you're a father. And it kind of goes back to our first conversation we had a few months back. What do you try to set in your career from a political standpoint?
Well, for me, I'm playing catch up with one, because, and I always say that I always keep it real, man. Like I just had a long conversation with him. I have a long way to go before I can even have this type of conversation. But the main thing that I tell him is that your mistakes are limited. This is true, but you do have the opportunity to do whatever it is you want to do. You just can't make too many mistakes along the way, or you're going to pay dearly for them. That's kind of what I tell my son. As far as my daughter, the main thing I do with my daughter, she kind of hears me in regards to the things that I pay attention to. But the main thing I instill in my daughter is just get your work done and you can do what you want. That's the main thing I put. Like she, for example, she likes to do her schoolwork early so she can pretty much not do anything for the rest of the week because she's fortunate enough to take online classes. Now she done got the hang of it. So she might blow through a whole week of work and not even go back no more. So those things, she only 8 right now. So those are the kind of things that I work on with her. Just instilling confidence and letting her know she can do whatever she want to do, man. But you got to take care of your business first. It's just a conservative point of view. It's a conservative point of view, bro.
That's definitely a good approach. It definitely sounds like you have a smart young lady. She's taking advantage of the situation.
Oh, man. Exactly what she doing.
Ain't knock the hustle, bro.
Nah, man. My son just going through some things because I wasn't there. And and I'm not gonna even point no fingers. It is what it is. You be reckless but he'll be all right in the end. He'll be okay. It's just gonna take some time for him to kind of stop blaming himself and just kind of move forward, man. Sometimes your parents mess up, bro. You got to get it together and move on forward. Now you're grown now, but yeah, he's a way better than he was. That's for sure. And he's oh yeah, he's something else, bro. He's something else. But yeah, man. I just try to let them know that the world is not your friend, but you can still make it. You can still make it out here. So I try to tell them.
No doubt, man. Well, man, like all this thing that must come to an end. I was enjoying hanging out in the conversation that we have.
And man,
we can get together and then and do it again soon.
Yes, sir, man. Just hit me up, and I appreciate it every time, man, because I get to let. It's like I be having this stuff balled up in me, man, and I don't really. And even when I was kind of doing my podcast a little bit, man, I hate talking to the screen to myself, man. I hate it, man.
I hate it too.
Man, I can do it, but I hate it, man. So yeah, man, I appreciate you, man. Anytime, bro. You give me a day or so notice, especially you gave me a whole damn week notice, I believe. So yeah, man, anytime, bro. Any subject, bro, I'm here, man. I would love to conversate with you. It's always good. I always put things in perspective for me, and I always I get to touch in with my roots, with my big bro, and it puts me in a good spirit, man. It really does put me in a better spirit, make me get on top of things I need to get on top of. So I appreciate you, bro.
Anytime, brother. Shout out you got tonight.
Oh nah, man. I ain't got no shout outs, man. Just a shout out to you, man. That's it, bro. I ain't got nothing else going on right now, man. It's just me and it's just you. That's it, bro.
That's what's up.
Well, appreciate you.
Definitely, you appreciate you. But we definitely gonna chop it up again soon. Those that tune in tonight, appreciate you joining. If you got any questions, you got some topics you want to see us discuss, definitely tune in with us. Email down at the bottom. You know, YouTube, comment, like, subscribe, whatever the case may be. Holler at us. We'll talk about it.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate y'all. Thank you. Appreciate you.
All right, peace, bro.
Have a good night.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up? This is Chris from ISI, and welcome to Cribs. So welcome to the Iron Sharpens Iron gear guide video. Gonna go and show you with what I play on. So I'm Chris, I play guitar, and I also sing.